Mate, as we say here in Australia. I'm getting good at this. Correction videos after correction videos, but unfortunately, because I'm trying to get information out very quickly, I'm making these videos and doing some of the checking afterwards, and I'm just not down with this 24-hour protocol that they use. When I see 6:30, I often think 6:30 p.m., not a.m. It's an Aussie thing. But anyway, regardless, or as somebody we know would say, irregardless, it doesn't make any difference to the outcome of the video. So if we go, I'm over here on my channel. How do I do this? Let's have a look. If we go to the posts, I've just made a correction. So I've had a few videos. The information essentially doesn't change, but some of the times do, slight corrections. So we were looking at Aquarius, not Aries, which negated a verse, but didn't change the moon moving into that Uranus-Pleiades position. But where I made a mistake there was it's actually 6 a.m. that happens, not 6 p.m. Something I find interesting about that is that sunrise is at 6:23. 7 minutes after sunrise, and the moon, actually the full moon is in Israel, is tomorrow or after midnight, so December 15th, 4. So it says next full moon, 4:14 a.m. So how any of that lines up, I'm not sure. You can click on all these images, by the way, like that to enlarge them. But so what we actually have, because it is now 4:50 a.m. in Israel, we have the sun rising today at 6:23 a.m. in Israel. Sun sets at 4:34. So 7 minutes after sunrise, we have the moon moving into Pleiades, as I showed, and around Uranus, etc. Hate that word, hate that planet. What idiot called it that? But anyway, as you can see by the videos that I've done here, we have it moving into that sort of, I don't know if it's really called a conjunction or what it's called, but into that Pleiades Uranus area at 6:30 a.m. and we are now 4:51 a.m. in Israel. So I guess what I'm saying is, were I watching, based on what I assume Spinebreaker is talking about, and I could be totally wrong because I haven't even ran this past him, so these videos are a good opportunity to just sort of catch up and chat anyway. So if I were watching specifically today, I would be thinking, 7 minutes after sunrise looks pretty good, based on, let's have a look. I was just chatting to Sister Sandy about it, actually, based on this right there, which is coming up right now. I'll just show you so that you can verify what I'm saying and somebody else can fix up my mistakes. So this is set for real time, not real time in my location, real time in Israel. So we are now 4:53 a.m. in Israel, not p.m. I will zoom in on this a bit. Then I will select the moon as the focal point. Okay. So let's go back. Oh boy, this thing sometimes gives me. So we're about here now. And at 6:30 area, we'll be just moving through right there. Zoom it out. You can see what I mean. So if I close this program down, restart it, this is exactly where we are now because it defaults to the current time. It's showing you basically where things are now with relation to the moon, etc., and Israel. And sorry about the seagulls out there. I do live in a beach area. That reminds me of an old Aussie joke. For somebody who spots $10 on the side of the road, they say they pick that up quicker than a seagull picking up a chip, which is a potato chip. If you know anything about seagulls and how they maraud you when you go to the beach trying to get your food. But anyway, guys, just another waffle, but it gives you something to watch as we look for our blessed hope to return. Here we are moving into, to select the moon again. Here we are moving into Pleiades. That's where we are about now. That's where we'll be around the 6:30 area, around about 7 minutes after sunset. It moves out about 8:10, I'd say, or 8:08, something like that. And of course then we watch every day. That's what we're called to do. But then we're watching our Cancer event on the 8th. Once again, it unselects the moon for some reason. Right about here, that area. 17:30, I sort of tagged it at about 5:30. Which did line up very nicely with the... I can't get it to stay there because these sliders with your fingers, especially if you've got fat fingers, they don't seem to work very well. But we're just saying 5:30, okay, 17. And I'm not messing up the AM PM. 17:30, that's 5:30, that's what we're saying. And that matched up on the 8th with nautical twilight, I think it was, yeah, between 5:26 and 5:31. Hang on, I might be looking at the 4th here. Let me go back a bit further. Yeah, it was. I can't find what I'm looking for. Anyway. I can't remember. Oh, I'll tell you what I can do. I can go to time and date. And we can sunset and sunrise. This is for Israel, as you can see. set for Jerusalem. Just have a look at the 8th so I can confirm what I was just saying. Right, so there you go, that looks better. I was looking at the 4th for the nautical twilight, etc. So on the 8th, when we're looking at around that 17:30 period, 5:30 p.m. period, where the moon dead intersects that line in Cancer, we have nautical twilight occurring starting 1 minute before and finishing just after that point. It's that 5:30 p.m. point. So that is definitely where I would look on the 8th. Now, we're actually on the 7th, and I'm on my 3rd correction video. Now what we've got is the 4th with sunrise 7 minutes before this approximately 6:30 event. Now, it's only very approximate because you could see I sort of had the moon, when I wasn't zoomed out, it looked very much like 6:30, but when I zoomed in, it looked like, here we are back in Stellarium. I'm going to close that, reopen it, so that it goes to the current time. I search for the moon. People out there that know Stellarium are probably thinking, what is this wombat doing? He is messing around. Let's search for the moon again, so it highlights it. So, as I said, I said 6:30. When it wasn't zoomed out, it looked like it was dead centre, and 6:30 actually brings us close. But if you wanted to say dead centre, it's hard to say because that's in the top quadrant there. But, you know, it'd sort of be somewhere definitely in that 6:30 area there to maybe there. Hard to say. But I mean, all this might mean nothing. This could just be total speculation, and it's just an exercise in having a look at the constellations. Now, we are not doing, you know, this horoscope stuff. What's that called? Astrology or anything like that. This is astronomy. We are simply looking at these signs in the heavens, which we are told to look for, and we are told in the Bible that day and night they spew forth knowledge. So, you know, this is something we are not outside of the Bible in doing. So, anyway, guys, haven't got that long now to wait till this, where I'm guessing, and I'm totally guessing, Spinebreaker is talking about on the 4th. And the reason I'm putting out a guessing video is because time's limited and I'm in a different time zone, so it's difficult for me to communicate with Kevin to ask him these questions. But nonetheless, this is where we could be looking today, and we already know for the 8th where we need to be looking. Right there, guys, right there. Right around that nautical twilight area. Anyway, God bless.